All right. How are you guys doing today? Let me just post links to everything. We will get started in a couple minutes. Discord. Bam. Okay. Hello, people. Okay. Wild Risk Gamer. Sup? This is the right attitude, Rian. I love it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time it is where you are. You guys having a good day? Get any wins this week? Any losses this week, actually? Let's hear about your losses. Sup, Sam? Sup, Maris? Wild Riz, what was your loss this week? This is fantastic. I love this for you. You know, obviously client rejection is never a good feeling, but it is not necessarily a loss. You're still learning skills. You're getting your reps in. You'll love to see it even if you don't love to see it. The shoot with Sean and Alex and Lindsey was so much fun. It was also incredibly stressful. We had many, many late nights and many, many long days, but I'm so excited for you guys to see what's going to come out of it, because we shot some really, really cool stuff. And if you've seen our 5-hour video on how to get started copywriting, you're going to get another free version of something like very similar to that. So if you have any questions about like outreach, how to get clients, how to like literally write copy, why you should care about copy, like we're going to be launching a whole thing on just how to do that. Probably the beginning of January next year, but maybe we'll be able to sneak out some content before that. So probably early January. We shot like probably 20 hours of stuff, of this like footage for our editor to go through. So he now has the horrible task of having to actually like parse through that, pick out the best shots. We had like a full production, and so we were just like behind cameras and like super hot lights all day long. It was a lot of fun, but yeah. And that will be available on our YouTube channel, I believe. But don't worry, we will keep you guys updated about all that stuff, and you will hear about it because we spent way too much money to make it. So need that ad revenue. Yes. Fun fact, this is my first time meeting Noah, our editor, in person, and he is in fact a demon. And we actually needed that from him because we are otherwise super swirly. He was like, no, do this now or else. He laid down the law. But yeah, let's get started. So if you don't know why you're here, I'm confused, but if you do, welcome to Whetstone Wednesday, the only Wednesday stream that happens on Friday where you can come and have your copy reviewed or watch other people have their copy reviewed, ask questions, hang out, have fun, enjoy some bad jokes. All of the copy you're about to see reviewed is stuff submitted by our patrons on patreon.com/thecopythatshow. Did I find it? If you want your copy reviewed, go there. You'll get access to like cool Discord channels, bonus content, all that fun stuff, and including submitting your copy to these sorts of shoes for me to rip into. If you don't want to pay the money, that's cool. You're still free to ask questions, hang out, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's hop into it. So we have a ton of copy for better or worse today. And this first one, yeah, nice, Adam. Yeah, so Patreon previously was, what's this number? $982,456 per month. But we did lower the price to $20 per month, so it's a great deal. Consider it. So this first piece of copy is from our friend, somebody, Rian, who I know is here. So let's get into it. This is a B2B squeeze page that gives you a lead magnet. That's a case study for something. The business is a SMMA that helps clubs get consistent flow of partygoers every weekend with their secret social media mechanism. Okay. Context their social media marketing agency with their own unique automatic secret social media mechanism that allows clubs to get a consistent flow of partygoers that spend without hiring promoters every weekend. So it seems like the thing is like get the people in your club, party, whatever, without having to hire promoters. Cool. Stage awareness is their audience is promo aware, so that probably means that they know they need to get people to the club, but they don't know how to do it. Their reader is club owners in Bali that struggle to maintain consistently good revenue. Their biggest problem is that their club owners are inconsistent, and most of the partygoers that walk in don't spend much in the club. Their idea is that we help the 5-star club in Bali at $30,000 in revenue every single weekend consistently for 6 months straight, and we can do it for yours as well. The offer is click this to get a case study, and the action is enter the contact info so that you can like get the thing. Cool. So this case study reveals how we generated Atlas an extra $30,000 in revenue every weekend consistently with our secret social system. Claim the free case study to discover how we did it without hiring a single promoter. There's a little entry thing. The CTA or the button, presumably, is yes, I want to consistently add more revenue. We uncover how our obscure social system draws a horde of big spending partygoers before midnight. The truth about why your club may not be the first choice. Watch out! The 3 red flags that make it impossible for clubbers to stay longer than an hour at your club. Easy to miss blunders that are preventing your customers from spending big money. Another button, download the free case study now. And then this is, okay, this is a different thing. Okay, so let's talk about this one first. And you guys feel free to like let me know or like tell me what you think about the copy as I'm going through it. You don't have to wait to hear my opinion. So yeah, headline complex above the form. How do I feel with this? This is I'd give this like a C. You're doing all of the things, but there's a lot of room for improvement here. Where should I start? So basically you're saying how we did thing that's good very often with some secret thing. I think when you do this kind of sort of secret headline, it needs to actually feel like a crazy result. $30,000 in additional revenue for a club is, substantial, but probably not like mind-blowingly big. And so to say like, oh my God, here's our big secret to do like sort of like medium-sized result feels a little underwhelming to me. It's like if I said, here's my super secret system for making the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You might be interested if you really love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And also, if you don't really care about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you're going to be like, okay, maybe. Okay, so they're practice pieces. Cool, it's good to know. So I think when you're doing practice pieces like this, to make your life easier, I would be a little bit hyperbolic. So if you are doing something for a club, consider saying instead of $30,000 a weekend, say $300,000 a weekend, because like a big spender at a club might be dropping 5 or 6 grand by themselves. So over the course of a weekend, let's say it's 3 days, $30,000 is just like 2 maybe huge spenders or 2 big spenders, which might not be a lot in someone's eyes. But if you're saying that the super secret system is getting you tons of people in, then maybe your number needs to be higher to make the actual copy feel, significant. So I just add like another 0 on here. That then makes the claim a lot more, interesting. Yeah. So also be careful about stuff like this where you're saying Atlas. Presumably Atlas would be the name of the club, but if someone's just reading this for the first time, they have no idea that that's what that is, and so they're like, "What did you generate revenue for?" You're not saying anything about clubs until we get down to here, kinda, where you mentioned promoters, but lots of businesses have promoters, so it's not even intuitive there that that's what you mean. You need to be super, super clear in your headline, especially on pages like this, about what it is, who it's for, what's in it for them, why they should care. So if you said like, how we generated $300,000 in revenue for a nightclub inside a rundown factory, or like something that seems like shitty, how we did a really good thing for a really shitty business that no one would be impressed with, I think that you still have that clarity, but you still have like the tension between those two things, the juxtaposition of how is it that this club that sucks can get so much more money, whereas my club, which I think doesn't suck, isn't getting that kind of result, is the sort of thing you're trying to play off there. Yeah. Hold up 1 second. Let me grab a tissue. And yes, Herv, you caught that. The word you say every weekend consistently. I think I know what you mean, because you're saying you get $30,000 in revenue per weekend, but if you just say per weekend, someone might be like, "Oh, it only happened a couple times," and so then you add the word consistently on top of that to say like, "No, this is a thing you could replicate over and over and over every weekend." But it is a little bit redundant between these two things. That isn't inherently an issue. However, if you think about the sort of like word economy, or like how many words you're making people read in order to understand a concept, this is not efficient. Like if you just said like every single weekend, or no matter what weekend, you're not making people kind of do the double work of saying, of understanding every weekend, and then what does it mean that it's every weekend consistently. It also reads better. Or you could change like this, the consistently, to some other sort of benefit, without having to do work, or blah 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 blah. To me, the deeper challenge behind critiquing copy like this isn't even that like this is bad. It's that I don't know if it's bad, because I can't tell what like the deeper idea is, other than that you have some sort of super secret system. So that to me goes back to this I part, where you say that your idea is that we help this this club in Bali add this much revenue every single weekend for this long. That is not an idea. That is a proof point. Now, that proof point may lead to, well, we have this system. And it's like, okay, well, then what is this system? Well, now we need to think through literally what is it that you're offering this person? Is it some sort of automation thing where you're going through social pages and doing XYZ thing? Is it, you're using influencers to do this. such that people just naturally want to go into the club. Depending on what the actual idea is behind the copy, this headline changes a lot. And it's way easier to make the headline sound much, much more interesting if in your head you actually know what it is beyond the proof point. So I think that's the part where I like, because like the writing is like, okay, it's clear to me that you haven't keyed in on like a really, really sharp idea yet. And so that's what I'd say for the next time you do this is, do all like the setup like you did before. This is like great. And I think everyone should do this sort of prep just to kind of give themselves clarity when they're laying out their copy. But also don't rush through it. I think this is like your reader here is fine. Your offer, your action is fine. Spend more time on your idea. Make sure that that's like the sharpest, smartest, most unique, whatever thing, because that will make writing all of your copy like 20 times easier. I promise you. Yes. And to be snappy, your idea needs to be sharp. And so that's why I'm kind of hammering in the work on the idea bit of this. Do you have any questions, Rian, before we move on? Noted. Okay, cool. All right, next victim is somebody. Next victim is Mercy. No, somebody else. Yeah, I think the order of these got messed up, but that's fine. We're good. So landing page for CT Whetstone. Sorry, it's not for this. It is a landing page for this stream. Okay. You spelled Kansas City wrong. Anyway, providing skilled nursing services, physical therapy, and home health aid at Kansas City area. Other services, occupational therapy, maintenance programs, social workers, real testimonial. I assume you're not going to say that. The nurses and physical therapists who helped us were very kind and intelligent people. They listened and gave us better advice than my previous agency. CTA, call us now for a free consultation. 4-star quality rated. Scroll down. Little value stack. Centers for Medicare and Medical Services rated our agency 4 stars for providing services. That means we have fewer emergency room visits, lower rates of hospitalization, proactive health monitoring, better health outcomes. Cool. We worked hard to get your loved ones back to their lives. More testimonials. Call now for a free consultation. Okay, interesting. So I assume that this is like you have an older family member or someone who needs some sort of assistance or something, and so you're calling these people in or whatever for some sorts of services. Well, right, home health services in the Kansas City area. One thing overall, there are like a few small like English errors here, and it's not even like really errors. It's just like sort of like native nuance stuff. So obviously, like, we fix Kansas, but you wouldn't say at the Kansas City area. You'd say like in the Kansas City area. Other services like include occupational therapy. I don't know what a maintenance program is, so like maybe there's a different word for that or something else you could say. Social workers, cool. One thing about stars and sorts of reviews, I don't think I've never heard someone talk about this before, but I feel like we need to be careful or something. To me, 4 stars sounds like mid, because in my head, I always think of stars on a scale of either like 1 to 3 or 1 to 5. So if you have 4 stars, I'm like, well, it's 4 out of 5. And so it's like pretty good, but not the best. Like I would want a 5-star quality rated, not a 4-star quality rated place. if you like made this up, it's fine or whatever. But just like stuff like that, keep in mind. I don't know if it really has an effect on the business or how people read your copy, but just, I know for me as a reader, I saw 4 stars. I was like, is that actually good? Your mileage may vary. I really like what you did here, because most people will just leave like, okay, here's 5,000 banners or like images of like awards or certifications or acknowledgments we got. Most people don't say these things that we're posting mean A, B, C, D. And so it's cool that you like turn that rating into like a proof point for this stuff. I think better health outcomes is very generic, and probably not the way that your reader would phrase that. So, for example, if my mom were in an assisted living facility, I would never say, I just want my mom to have the best health outcomes. I would say, I want my mom to, be happy and healthy, or be like living her healthiest life, or whatever kind of thing. It's much more emotional, much more personal, longer life expectancy, whatever. I don't know what's exactly right for the situation, but do be mindful of that. This is a place where it can be helpful to do voice of customer research. So if you go onto Yelp or whatever sort of website, look up other businesses that do this kind of thing and read the reviews that people say about them, particularly the good ones, and steal that language to write your page. So if people are saying like, are talking a lot about empathy and care and feeling seen, use that sort of language in your copy to sort of acknowledge those people. Hey, that's the same outcome you would get here. It's a super, super useful hack. Yeah. And so then we have like 4.8 stars, 4.5 stars. Obviously, if this were real copy, or this might be real copy, but like in real copy, never lie about your star rating. So if you have only 4 stars out of 5, don't say you have 4.8 stars, because that is bad. But like be mindful of that when you're doing your spec pieces. I had a fascinating conversation with an Uber driver a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about like ratings, and I of course have a 5-star rating, but he was saying how he tries not to pick up anybody under a 4.8. Hold on one second, to take a phone call. All right, sorry about that. Sorry. So Uber driver, he was saying how he doesn't like to pick up anybody below a 4.8 star rating, because what that means is, the vast majority of rides you have are 5 stars, no problems, whatever, everyone's happy. But if you consistently have not great rides, or stuff comes up often enough that your score goes down even a little bit, that might be indicative of like a big behavior problem. And so I think we do a similar thing when we're looking at reviews of businesses, services, restaurants, whatever. And it's like, 5 is obviously great, but also, I'm sorry, hold on one more time. Sorry, that's a dinner reservation. They're just calling to confirm. Um, stuff comes up often enough that then your score goes down. And so when we see like restaurants with like a 4.4, we're like, oh shit, like, I would expect it to be perfect service, but stuff happens enough, people are dissatisfied enough that then it goes down a little bit, and that little bit feels like a lot, even though like the number isn't actually that different. So that's a thing to keep in mind. That's why 4 is not nearly as good as 4.5 or 5. Yeah, so it was my math dealer. Thank you. But yeah, so ratings, great dimensionalization. We should probably be like present tense, because if you worked hard, that means that you're no longer doing that. Probably because they died, and if they died under your care, that means you're bad at your job, which means I don't want to send my mom there because you kill her. Don't kill my mom, please. And yeah, I mean, this is obviously it's not done yet, and so more testimonials are great. You could do more like addressing of these points, or the main pain points that people have. You could kind of like build out sections for each. I do think like when we're thinking about like SEO or having these target landing pages for specific regions, doing stuff like Kansas City area, calling that out is fantastic. Love that. Having like the specific services in the title, very visible, where people can see them and immediately know I'm on the right page for the thing that I'm looking for. Fantastic. Contact info right up here. I hope that these are clickable links, because if they are, that is great. Make it super, super easy for people to say yes to your services. Of course, great right here to have that CTA again, right next to a beautiful testimonial. We love that. I think you're doing everything right. Just go back and finish this. Bam. I've never actually used like ChatGPT or like even Grammarly for stuff before, but I know a lot of people that use those, and it seems to help a lot. If English is not your first language, I would give it a try. Definitely write yourself by yourself first, just because it's great practice, and you'll never get better if you don't practice doing it. But then like run it through something like that, either ChatGPT or like a free app like Grammarly, and just see what kind of feedback you get. It won't always be like perfectly right or something, but like just sort of get a sense for like what you could be doing differently, and maybe have like someone who is a native speaker like kind of check it for you to see like how it sounds. There weren't really like all of the stuff I changed here was like not huge, but I did kind of stumble a couple times. It's like, oh, this doesn't quite feel right. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I think even for native speakers, when you're staring at the same page for a super long time, it's kind of like it all sorts of melt and blend. It gets hard to like kind of parse. So definitely use those tools. All right, next thing. Copy directly from Sean's toilet wall. I've been there, so I will be able to verify if this is true. It's a practice piece. Advertorial blog for a solution-aware audience. They know they want a hardware wallet. Not sure which one to pick. Trying to sell Bitbox02 as the top choice. Social media ad to this page, to product page for crypto hardware wallet. Cool. I love this context setup. You're telling yourself what this is. You're saying who it's for. You're saying kind of what the problem is for the audience. Having this flow, that awareness of how people are getting to your copy and where you want them to go, perfect. Now I'll be able to judge how well you're doing this. So question, for e-com, is it better to have a social media ad directly go to the product page? How often does ad directly to advertorials for e-com products? I'd say for most of the e-com ads I get served personally, they are driving directly to product pages. It probably depends on a little bit on what the product is. However, like if we're talking about clothing, we're talking about food stuff where it's like just purely a style kind of thing or like an aesthetic thing, drive to the product page, because good product pages are going to sell people on that anyway. If the CTA is right there on the page, you don't have to get people through extra steps. If you were doing like jacuzzi stuff, that might want to drive to like a jacuzzi or a laptop computer, like more high ticket products. I would imagine there's an argument for like driving to, not necessarily like even an advertorial, but like if you go to like Dell.com, and you click on one of these things. Oh no, let's see. Laptops, XPS laptops. Let's do this. Oh, they changed it up. Okay. So it used to be that when you like clicked on these, it would take you to like almost like a land, like it was like this kind of thing. It would take you like this first. Where's the top? Like something like this, and then you scroll down a bit and you get straight to like the buy shit part. And so that's where you throw the features. It's super pretty. Blah blah blah. Here's all the reasons to buy. What it means. I can imagine that might win out sometimes, but it looks like even for like the Dell computers, they are driving straight to like, hey, get your thing in the cart. Obviously, we didn't get here through an ad, so this is just like how they're doing their website. Which I guess if I'm the kind of person who is going to the website, clicking on a specific line, the XPS laptop, I probably already know a lot about the product and I'm just closer to buying. So this is smart. But just, probably for lower ticket stuff, don't worry about it. Just drive straight to product page. Yeah. So anyway, back to this. Best crypto hardware wallets for 2024. Congrats, you've decided that the hardware wallet is for you. It's the first step towards having serious protection for your crypto. You know the saying, not your keys, not your crypto. If you're not sure whether you need a hardware wallet, check these out. Hardware versus software wallet. Why keeping your crypto on exchanges dangerous? What is a hardware wallet? I'd say just immediately the order of this is wrong. If I don't know what a hardware wallet is, I'm not going to be able to understand this or this, maybe. Or maybe you do like you say why keeping your crypto on exchange is dangerous. Then you present the hardware wallet as a solution, and then you compare that to a software wallet. So just move the number one to the bottom. And I guess these are links. But if you're going to do this, there's no reason to drive someone off the page to do this. So just have condensed version of these articles, whatever they are, like right down here, almost like a table of contents. So you can click this, scroll down, shows you hardware versus software, whatever. Now you might feel overwhelmed by tons of complicated choices and not sure which one to pick. Don't worry, we've done the hard part for you. We compiled a list of the best hardware wallets in the market today. And so it's like a comparison thing. It's interesting to have the company headquarter bit here. I don't dislike this if at some point you're playing off of like Swiss manufacturing and kind of using that as like a proof point or like a thing that differentiates you from other people. But if you don't ever leverage this, then this is just like extra information that no one cares about. I don't think that the average person is going to be so sophisticated that they have that immediately the idea that a Swiss hardware crypto wallet is going to be better than a French one, for example. Open source, great stuff. I assume people care about these things. Learn more. Top hardware wallet features to consider. All this stuff, why it matters. Okay. Testimonials. All right. I see what you're trying to do. I think you might be doing this wrong. And a website that does this well is CNET, which is like a tech aggregator website that does reviews and other things like that. So let's see. Let's go to VPNs. And we're going to say best VPN service 2024. And look at how they lay this out. So obviously they have some editor's choice. So this is like sponsored, whatever. But just easy click to products. But you scroll down a little bit, immediately, table of contents. So they have their top picks at the top, so you can just go there if you're super aware. But if you aren't, they say, what is the best VPN service? Factors to consider, speed tests, about them, how we do the testing, how to choose the right one for you, other ones we've tested, frequently asked questions. And then they run through all this information that you're running through. And while they do that, they're showing products, they're having links to specific products. They're showing what it looks like. So much of this is showing. All while running through all the same stuff you're running through. It feels a lot more objective and that like you're not just trying to shill a product, but it still lets you have the links and drive to whatever page you want to drive to. You can do a version of this that is just for like one product. So let's see, home theater system. Let's click best bookshelf speakers. Oh, no, we want to see their review. Yeah, read full review. So here's like just for one product. Shows the stuff. In this article, they still have a table of contents. And so because it's about one thing, it lets you just kind of really hone in on like the specific USPs of the product. You're still comparing to other products, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had like the sort of like check mark thing that you have, but just for like smaller. So I would just go to a website like this. Wirecutter is another good example. CNET, obviously great. And look at what they do for how to structure it. Because you have all the content here, it's just the order feels a little bit out of whack to me. All right, next. Email for critique. So context, this is one email out of a batch of 4 I wrote for a client. They're a real estate media company using newsletters to nurture leads. Okay. So I'm a little confused. So the client is real estate media. I guess they're teaching other people how to nurture leads, maybe? Anyway, so subject line, feel like giving up on social media lead gen? How to create content to get leads. Cool. Dear name, one of the reasons it's so hard to get clients on social media is because you're not focused on creating content for your ideal client. Here's a quick story about a real estate agent who struggled with getting leads. As an ambitious entrepreneur who felt like she wasn't cut out to be an agent, she spent 4 months filming visual walkthroughs for social media. The quality of my content has really improved since I started doing these walkthroughs, but I'm not getting any traction from it. She told me she even tried paying to promote her posts, but got 0 leads and tons of agents following her instead. She basically lit her money on fire by promoting them. Can you relate to this story? If you've been struggling to get leads on social media, I want you to know you're not alone. Running a business is hard, and real estate school never prepared you for this. Believe me, after working with hundreds of agents to build their brand on social media, I've seen them all struggle. Good news is there's 5 simple steps, blah, 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 blah. We teach people going through we focus on getting you leads, not vanity metrics. Check out our CTA. Sign off. Okay. The problem with this is that this is boring. And this is, how do I say this? This is doing a lot of telling instead of showing. And what I mean by that is you're saying, it's so hard to get clients because of this. Here's a story. And then the story, you just kind of say, this person felt like this. She did that. This is what she said. What if instead you started your story off, which I assume is like made up with like a quote from the woman. I feel like I'm lighting my money on fire. Then you cut to Lucy, name the person, especially if they're fake. Lucy, like a lot of people, was an ambitious entrepreneur who was feeling like, who after 4 months grinding through like learning content creation, blah, 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 blah on social media, was feeling like she wasn't cut out to be an agent. No, it wasn't that she had the passion for the industry or that she hadn't gone to school. In fact, she'd gotten like great grades or passed her tests with flying colors, whatever it is. Uh, it was getting leads that was the problem. And so after struggling so long, after working so hard, like she did to get through real estate school, she started doing what everyone else did, turned to social media. And though she'd seen like a huge improvement, it just felt like it wasn't working. Because it wasn't. And then you can get to some sort of massaging of why, blah, 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 blah. You need to start off every single email with a hook like that. Make it emotional, make it about a person. Say all of these things you're saying, but like frame it through the lens of someone who's actually experiencing them. Don't just say what happened to them. It's the difference between reading a novel and reading a history book. History books just tell you this. Novels like move you through it and pull you through it. Most novels, good novels at least, are much more compelling than history books as a result. And I think stuff like this, there's 5 simple steps to take. I think if you do the first part well, you don't have to lay this out like this because it feels like a throwaway. If there's 5 steps, I would want you to walk me through the 5 steps, because if they're so easy, you could just write them on a list. They're probably not that useful. And so either like the content of your email is about this, or this email is driving to a page where you're going to teach me about this. Is how I feel about that. The CTA is kind of weak. Like, check out our branding services. You could do some sort of combination here where you're like, if you want to solve the problem like Lucy did, click here to learn the 5 simple steps you can take to start creating content that actually resonates with potential clients. Have that be your CTA. This disappears on the page. You're able to dedicate more time and energy and attention to it. It has more value. On that page somewhere is some sort of CTA to connect, book, call, whatever the next step is for the business. Because I imagine what's on the other side of click here to check out our branding services is just a landing page. But the kind of person who's clicking to check out branding services is like that's so different from lead gen, because the problem here is like you're framing it as like she doesn't know how to get clients, and then you say check out our branding services. These are very, very different services you're offering, or like there's a mismatch here. Yeah. Next. So context. There's a florist business who curates events with flowers. Cool. Great service. The email is offering a discount. The tone is graceful and elegant. So I will read it gracefully and elegantly. Just compose myself. Subject line. Enjoy a limited one-time discount of 15% on your upcoming event. Body. Dear Jane, I'm offering 15% off on your next event. Enjoy captivating flowers that calm, soothe, and embellish any venue. Perfect for events such as weddings, fundraisers, anniversaries, birthdays. Hear what my valued clients have to say. Chanel has that eye for detail. She made my wedding look like a fairy tale. From Susan. I was shocked that my boring restaurant looked like a garden, said Jerry. I was captivated by the elegance and sophistication of Chanel's floral arrangements, is what Miriam told us. Whether it's a celebration of love, a milestone anniversary, or a joyous birthday, my floral designs will elevate the occasion to new heights. Don't hesitate to take advantage of this spectacular opportunity. Click here to get your 15% off. Until next time, Chanel Mitchell's. Flowers by Chanel Mitchell's. P.S. If you want to learn how to curate your event, I'm hosting a complimentary webinar this Sunday. Click here to reserve your spot. Okay, cool. So a couple things. First thing, super easy, is rule of 1. There's one idea, one offer. If you are trying to get people to take you up on a discount code, don't also be trying to sell them on go to your webinar. These are two very different offers, and they require two very different approaches. And by trying to do both, you fail at both. So one, very easy. And I would suggest, because you're kind of trying to do your discount thing, just cut off this PS section. Easy. Second thing, and this is going to be a little bit harder. If your idea of your business or of this person's business is that it is sophisticated, elegant, graceful, what you are signaling to me as a reader is that it is high value. It is luxury. There is an experience to it. There is something about it that makes it better than other people's stuff. That is leading towards this is going to be expensive, or you will be willing to pay more money for this because this is going to get you a certain level of quality that other people's services will not. This is not the corner flower shop. This is some high tier stuff. This could be Beyonce's Florist. The trouble comes that when you try to have a luxury service that you are then selling through significant discounts. I will challenge you to tell me the last time that Gucci ever did like a 15% off deal. And if they did, that they were telling people about. That was not just like an employee discount. Because when you are trying to sell your luxury product by discounting it, you're undercutting one of the most significant like value statements about the brand you're making. The Queen of England, rest in peace, would never have been like, oh yes, we're having a discount lunch day. No, that's not her brand. This is not your client's brand. So don't lead with, hey, we got this really nice thing and we're selling it for 15% off. Now, that does not mean that you can't use discounts with a business like this. However, they cannot be front and center. You cannot have in the subject line, enjoy a 15% off discount, and then talk about how great it is. Now, how do we do that? One, I would start off with a better framing of your email. So that can be as simple as pulling one of these quotes, maybe something a little bit even more grandiose, and leading off with like, Chanel has an eye for detail. She made my wedding look like a fairy tale. Then go into, hey, I'm Chanel. This is what I do. Pretty pictures of floral arrangements that live up to the hype in the quote. Beautiful. We love it. I do this. I care about this. This is the sophistication, elegance, whatever that I strive for, that I bring to people's experiences because people deserve that. Blah, 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 blah. All that great stuff. Throw out some more quotes. Whether it's a celebration of love, milestone anniversary, Joy's birthday, you deserve to have floral designs that elevate the occasion to new heights. And then you say, for limited time only, or for your first time customers, get 15% off. And then you pivot right back out of it into your clothes, your whatever, back to, hey, this is high value, and you would really regret not taking me up on this deal. But do the work up top of lead with, hey, this is super high value. Hey, this is super great. This is luxury. This is going to elevate the thing. This is going to give you the wedding of your dreams. Then you say, hey, here's a discount. But don't make the discount the primary thing, because then it makes you sound cheap when you're telling me that your brand is all about elegance and sophistication. Cool. Let me just check one thing real quick. We good. Blissful Voyage welcome package. So this copy is for a welcome packet sent to interested prospects for a nanny referral agency called the Blissful Voyage. I don't know about that name, but okay. So interested prospects. So I assume that means that this is somebody who has requested information from this business. Okay. So the reader is high income people. They're busy in their careers, but want the best care for their kids. Yeah. We may have had a brief interaction with the agency owner, or call or email. Word of mouth is the business. Okay, this is the number one source of leads. Cool. This document serves to send them all the info they need about the agency and a services in sequence. They don't have to scroll through several website pages. Cool. Second chance. Yep. This is the title page and opening messaging. In the client's words, I want this doc to have an enchanting charm that reflects my dedication to my job or business, my true passion. The tone I have gone for is magical, whimsical, and holistic. Okay. Okay. Let's just peek at this. Let's just look real quick. So this is the original version. Family, warm welcome. Okay. Welcome, Anderson family. The story of our thriving and joyful community goes back to those whispers of childhood dreams where every day was a new adventure filled with excitement and sparkle with endless possibilities. The spirit of curiosity and delight made me create this beautiful community of caregivers, each bringing magic to the lives of families, providing them with well-balanced, warming, and inspiring environments. Okay. Very flowery. Not saying much. So we're about to click yours. Question for you. Is the tone fine? Does the copy do a decent job of being more reader-centric? The client's copy was pretty bad in this regard, IMO. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay. I think this first page is fine. I kind of like what she did here, making it look like it's handwritten. So from like a design note, I would flip this and this, and so say like, warmest welcome from the Blissful Voyage family to, and then you have the Anderson family down here in like handwriting, kind of like this right here. Just flip these because warmest welcome doesn't need to be handwritten necessarily. Okay, this small thing though. There's nothing like watching your child blossom in the healthiest, tenderest, most loving care possible. Letting innocent adventures unfold before your eyes, creating sparkly memories to last you and your kids' lifetime. But you also have dreams to chase, a stellar career to pursue. Your time is scarce and precious, and you have to wear many hats at once. Is it possible to squeeze the best out of both of these priceless worlds at the same time? Out of this very question bloomed forth this beautiful community of 250 plus devoted caregivers. I named it the Blissful Voyage because we exist solely to help you navigate your parental journey with nothing but beaming smiles and complete peace of mind. We're a skilled pool of hundreds of kind, qualified, and diverse individuals. This should definitely be a different word. Caregivers is fine, whatever these people are. You're free to pick the perfect match for your family's needs and expectations. Your satisfaction is above all else, which is why we don't let just anyone in this community. We run background checks. Cool. Most are teachers. Together, let's make your dream of seeing your little ones grow in a world of endless creativity, love, and security. And you focus on pursuing your passion with vigor, knowing your precious angels are in after yours the best hands. Everything you need to know to make an informed confident decision lies in this document. Plus, I've always just email or call away just in case. Cool. Okay. I think you're trying to do a very hard thing, and I think you don't have to try to do this super hard thing. The tone, I think, is fine. I think her tone, as you've identified, is like not super great. But you've done a pretty good job of moderating it. I'd still say it's a little bit too much for me personally, but it seems like the client likes that, and so that would be a conversation you have to have about like style versus substance and how style can sometimes kill substance. Yeah, your mileage may vary on that conversation. As far as what you're doing here, I think you're doing two things at once, and you need to do one. Yes, your target audience are parents who have jobs, who need childcare for whatever reason. Uh, that does not mean that you need to speak to the other things that parents are trying to do. So I never want to see in like if I were looking for childcare for my kid, I don't care. I don't need someone to acknowledge that I have dreams to chase or my goals because in the moment that I'm reading a packet about childcare, I don't. My dreams are a side conversation. This like the product or service itself is a mechanism to help me do that. I already know that. You don't need to tell me that. I am here because I want to know if this is the right place for my kid. Um, and yeah, there's also a way in which like maybe not everyone will feel this, but to me, it's like you saying trying to talk, like say all this about magic and experience or whatever. It feels like you're kind of talking out the side of your mouth and be like, yeah, and also you're trying to get the kids out the fucking house so you can like do the thing you really care about. Uh, it's just really hard to stick that landing. And so I'd say like, anything mentioning the parents' other goals and desires and stuff just needs to be cut out of this. Um, one, because it distorts the message. Two, because it's space you'd be using to talk about the other things. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about what this page needs to do. This is the first page of a packet that probably has lots of information about the program and the details. That means that you don't have to talk about every single detail or answer every single objection. Your job is just to get the person to the next page or to the table of contents or wherever. So I think what your copy needs to do is sell them on the idea of the business, not whether or not every caregiver has had a federal background check, just why this is the place, these are the people they should trust their kid with. So I would not start with like this watching your child blossom in loving care. There's like maybe it's like about growing up. Maybe it's about like development. Maybe it's about like educational opportunities or like, giving the ability to experience and learn about the world. But it's not about the care so much. The care is just the thing that makes everything else you care about possible. Good care is good because it gives kids a safe place, because it teaches kids, because it lets them socialize, it lets them grow, it lets them explore what it means to be a human being. I don't know how much I care about memories of a 3 or 4 year old, So I would try to find a different thing to latch onto at the start. And then say like, because I care about these things, because this is so important, or this is a thing that everyone deserves to experience, I created this thing. I named it this because of this. This is what our community is. And I wouldn't just talk about the caregivers. I'd also talk about the kinds of other kids that are in it. And so like, talk about the diversity of other families, because that's a big selling point. I imagine your target audience for this is like rich upper middle class white people, and for a lot of those people, they don't want their kids to just go to school with other rich upper class white people. They want some racial diversity. They want some socioeconomic diversity. Sometimes they want their kids to be exposed to all different sorts of things, so that they are cultured or whatever, ready for the world we live in. So talk about that as well. And then like all this, like that stuff, like the diversity of your community and the skills and the mindfulness and whatever, is then like built like our proof points to talk about how this sort of like lofty vision comes to life in terms of like how the community actually functions in real life. And if you do that well, then you can kind of like end on, maybe not you dream, but your goal of seeing your little ones grow and flourish and blossom into the best version of themselves they can be will be realized, whatever. And then you say, yes, everything you need to know about us and the community, whatever is in the pages ahead. feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Sign off is how I would do that. It might be like I would just try just doing what I said first. Very straightforward. Coming back to it, write what should be there in terms of content first, and then go back and change the style. That will save you 1,000 headaches rather than trying to like be super flowery and figure out a flowery way of saying the correct thing. Just say the right thing first, then go back and change the style. And you can absolutely feel empowered to have a conversation with your client about like, hey, of course the style is important, but also keep in mind that this is an informational package. And so clarity is the most important thing. And two, people are looking for the service not because of the tone of writing, but because of either your character, because they've interacted with you, or because this is a service that's important for their family. And so grounding it in like what the target audience wants and not like your client's vibes per se. All right, next. We got some bullets or headlines and bullets for a back pain course. Headlines. Get rid of chronic back pain in 15 minutes a day without drugs. Burn chronic back pain out of your body. Discover how your back can heal itself. New hope for those battling chronic back pain. So I'd say out of these, say this last one, this first one. All right. These two aren't really doing it for me. Number 3 has some potential. Like discover the secret mechanism to a back. It's like a self-repairing back that heals itself, whatever kind of thing. Maybe the phrasing for these is kind of awkward and not clear. I think with headlines, like the most important thing is just the clarity. Even if it's like not super novel, if I just know what it is you're about to tell me, I will know whether or not I'm interested. And if I am interested in it, even if the articulation is not the most interesting, there is some chance that I will scroll down the page or click or whatever. Okay, bullets. Why you should never rest too long. Most people make this crucial mistake and risk more pain that's 100% avoidable. There's a better way to relieve pain quicker with no risk of hurting yourself at all. Honestly, this first half is great. I would like delete the second part. I'd rephrase this first part to like, why resting too long actually hurts you or hurts you more or leads to more pain. Because a lot of people think, hey, I need to rest because of my pain. Flipping that and saying that, hey, that's actually hurting you also is something that people were like, oh, wait, what? This is cool. A ridiculously simple 15-minute routine to relieve back pain. Now, this feels more like a headline. It's kind of meh as is. Never again feel the hopelessness that nothing will ever fix the root issue. This is not clear. You could say this exact same thing about a debt course or like literally any product. So this is starving for specificity. How to strengthen your deep core muscles so you're confident with every movement. It's like having an invisible back brace around your lower back. First half, I don't know if this is something that, do people struggle with confidence in their movements if they have back pain? Maybe, but I also don't think they'd say it like that. So that can die. This idea or this visual of having the invisible back brace around your lower back, I think could be powerful. And so there's probably something you could build off of this. The secret behind chronic back pain. If you've ever seen a doctor for your back, they prescribe you a pill, they send you away. Proof most doctors don't know the root cause of chronic back pain. This feels like 3 different ideas in one bullet. This is like, there's a secret cause. Doctors just give you medication. Or doctors are lazy, and this is like doctors don't have expertise. So pick one. And then how to correctly use deep core muscles, which 99% of doctors don't know. Not clear. Do they not know the deep core muscles, or do they not know how to correctly use them, or do they not know something else? And why does using your deep core muscles benefit you is the question I have. I don't know, so I don't like the bullet. All right, 1 second. All right, next. Love the image. So these are some meta ads for natural skincare products. Context, testing different ad angles to expand our reach to a larger online market. Each of these ads is direct swipe from ads that are running now and seem successful. Overall, I feel they're too wordy, but got to start somewhere. Thanks, Ron. Cool. So I guess are these you swipe like the framework for these ads, or are these just ads other people are using? I guess it's the same either way. So Telebalm. So image, cool image on someone's hand, shows what the thing is. Go read. 5-star review. Get it now. We love this salve. I've tried a lot of different types, but this is by far the best. They don't use petroleum products, and Creole seed bush is gentle but very healing. At my house, we put the salve in just about everywhere. The body, hands, face, and even lips. The owners are also awesome people that are sharing the wonder of the Terlinga Desert with everybody. It's a pretty decent testimonial. Caption: 3 reasons you'll love this all-natural creosote bush salve. 100% natural ingredients, effective in hydrating, pleasant smell. Our soothing salve is made from all natural ingredients, 100% bush leaves, free of any chemicals, petroleum, toxic stuff. The bush leaves give our salve superpowers due to its antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. 100% more powerful than vitamin E. Okay. I mean, yeah. I think this is a really good example of what I was talking about before, where, yeah, the copy is like very generic, but it's super clear. You know exactly what it is you're buying. This testimonial is like very clear on how this person feels about it. I have tried lots of things, and this is the best one. They don't use bad thing that people don't like, and they use this thing that has good things. We can use it in every single situation. The owners are great. That it's 100% natural, effective in hydrating. It smells good. These are not huge objections that people have, but like they're very important. Like if you've ever used like a lotion or something that did not smell good to you, you know how unpleasant that is because it just lingers and lingers and lingers. And so, you know, pleasant smell is not like the craziest, oh my God, I have to have that thing, but it makes such a big difference. And I think this is such a great example of like how just telling people like the very basic stuff that will make using your product or service pleasant for them can be super powerful. It doesn't need to be some crazy fancy idea. And then they're like the way they elaborate on these things is just like, okay, we know people care about natural ingredients. And so we're just going to tell them the ingredient list. And then we're going to tell them the ingredients that aren't in it that we know they don't like. So it has all the stuff that you think that sounds good to you. It has none of the stuff that sounds bad. Even for this, effective in hydrating, like I would be tempted to be like, it's 100% more powerful than vitamin E, or 100% more hydrating than vitamin E, or something like that. But that is obviously less clear than effective and hydrating. And so I think it's the correct move just to say this. Someone's scrolling through a feed or browsing the internet. The best thing you can do for somebody is just tell them what the fuck they're looking at. And this does that. Video reel, 3 natural ingredients missing from moisturizer. It's all just, it's just like an exercise in clarity. Oh, thank you, Laura. Okay. Yeah, so one's the image and one's the caption. Yeah. If you wrote this is like fantastic. I know like it is like quite wordy, but like it is, you cannot beat clarity, especially for like products like this where people just want to know, is it going to do the thing I want it to do? And because like think about it, like if you have 2 lotions next to you or like in front of you at the store, they might look a little bit different in the container, but like beyond that, you don't know the difference until you've used it. And so like the best reassurance you can have from the brand is not like, oh my God, it has this crazy ingredient formula, whatever. It's, hey, you want something that's going to make sure your lips aren't chapped or it's not going to like mess up or make your eczema flare? We got you. Yeah, so at 3, struggle with dry cracked skin, stubborn itching and rashes that won't go away. Try to soothe and heal eczema, dermatitis, and unknown skin outbreaks, or trying to do that can feel impossible. And more often than not, the creams we expect to help relieve the itching and pain are full of harsh chemicals, resulting in drier skin, deeper cracks, and the feeling that our skin will be itchy and inflamed forever. The products we're told will help us I'd say like for readability, will help us only wreak even more havoc on our skin's natural barrier. I'd say either add like a word or comma or break here, because it reads a little bit clunky. But I know what you mean here, and it's like there's just like a comma or something dumb missing. But what if you could quickly repair the natural barrier your skin needs to be healthy? Introducing double extracted creosote salve, your daily solution to banish itching, rashes, and other skin problems. In just a few applications, you'll feel the difference. Natural botanicals soothe irritated, inflamed skin and work to repair your skin's natural barrier. This is great for writing at this angle. You're speaking to somebody who knows they have a problem. You're talking about the issues they run into with other products. You're saying that your product doesn't do that. If you wanted to elaborate, you could. I imagine that this wouldn't live in the same place. I don't know where this would go. If this is like a product page, this would be a good place to do this, where it's like, that'd be great. Like if you want to say why, you go back to the 100% more hydrating than vitamin E, blah, 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 blah. But this is solid. This is sharp. We have some testimonials. Cool. Yeah, no, great job. I mean, no complaints from me. I think like honestly, so much of the copy that we look at or that we like see in the world even is like so hyperbolic. It's so much about polarizing. It's so much like, this is the best thing ever. Or do you have this crazy problem? Here's this crazy solution. Or unintuitive, like, you think this, but really it's that. Or people are out to get you. This is a perfect example of why you don't need to write like that to be effective for the vast majority of niches. This is great copy. Good job. People should study this copy. Okay. Next one. So this is a practice sales page for a course on prepping a food supply in a small urban apartment. Audience would have clicked on an ad or found it after a YouTube video from the guru. Thanks in advance. So we open to an image of a family having a meal while watching news of a natural disaster. Prepare and store a big food supply in a small space. Learn the essential skills you need to prepare and preserve a mega food supply, even if your home is a small urban dwelling. Start preparing now. Button. Thin scrolling or flashing banner. I like the design notes here. I don't think I've seen copy where someone's like called out, "Hey, I want the scrolling banner." But that's a cool thing. I don't know. I would reframe this from courses sold to like people. Like if you were going like a super patriotic route, which a lot of these things do, you could say like 3,521 patriots prepared with food, or 5,144 patriots have their bug out bags ready, or whatever. Make it about the people, the community, the sort of person, the aspirational figure that people want to be a part of, that group of people want to be a part of. When you say course is sold, it kind of takes people out of the mindset of, oh shit, I'm trying to prepare and protect my family, to, oh yeah, this person's trying to sell me something. Which even if they know, you don't need to remind them, because it's like a different way of thinking. Okay. You don't need a doomsday event or a large home. I don't know what this means. Or like rather, these mean different things to me. When I read you don't need a doomsday event, my mind goes to, oh, I shouldn't have to be thinking about that to need to be ready. But when I read you don't need a large home, it's like you don't need a large home to get ready. So these are taking me to different places. Maybe it's you don't need to be afraid of a doomsday event or have a large home. I still think these are kind of different. I used to think prepping was only for those with spacious homes or with the fear of an impending zombie invasion. Yeah, I think the spacious homes thing is like you need to change this or qualify this more, because think of like Bill Gates has a spacious home. He probably wouldn't consider himself a doomsday prepper. So what kind of person with a spacious home are you talking about? I think that's what you need to focus on. And since I didn't own a mansion or believe in zombies, I didn't see the value in paying much attention to being food prepared for any longer than the 72 hours recommended by our government, especially since my small apartment was in a city where everything always worked. But everything came tumbling down to the financial crash of 2008. I still feel shame when I remember how I failed to provide basic necessities like food for my family. If you live in a smaller home, I wrote this course to help you do what I couldn't. Live in dignity if you ever face a catastrophic event. When you read my story, you'll see how humiliating not having enough food can be. Before we move on, I think you either need a different example here, or you need to qualify this, because my mind called BS a little bit on the angle when I read this. I know, like, the financial crash of 2008 was obviously bad, but like in my mind, I don't think of, oh my God, you couldn't go to the food and buy grocery store. It was just a lot of people lost a lot of money. And when I think of food prepping in this way, it's not for people who are poor. It's for people who literally cannot access food because like the world is on fire. And so if you're priming people for, like, if the example you use an example where it's just a bunch of people found themselves suddenly poor, that's very different from the world is ending. So you need to make sure that this example is pushing people more towards like the world is ending kind of thing. Maybe if like you could tell a story if someone was like at a cabin or something with their friends, or I don't know, because you're an urban angle. But like it needs to be something where like you literally could not. Hurricane Sandy in New York City, great example. There's your example. Okay, what's happening? I froze, maybe. All right, sorry. Am I still here? Okay, sorry. I think I froze for a second. But Hurricane Sandy is a great example of this. So this was a really big hurricane that hit like the mid-Atlantic, northeast part of the United States, including New York City. Let's see if we can find some pictures. And so there was like massive flooding. People had to evacuate. Like my sister was living in New York at the time, and like for school, and she had to leave to like go somewhere else. And so people were stuck. Like you couldn't, like the subway, like this is the subway, it's underwater. Like this was really, really bad. And so if you were in New York at the time, you had to make a decision about if you were going to leave or not. You could not go to the grocery store. And so that is the kind of person who would be wanting this course or to have had this knowledge for their tiny apartment for a real life thing. Just use Hurricane Sandy as your example. I promise you it will be way better. That's also a better example of a catastrophic event, or what people think of when you say catastrophic event, versus a financial crash, which is largely invisible. You want those big sort of examples that people can like see in their brain, not just like be like, oh yeah, that was bad, wasn't it? Okay. You can prep a large food supply even if your home is small or if you don't see any signs of the apocalypse. I think another note here is that you need to be careful about the ways in which you're hyperbolic. At the beginning of your sales letter, you can't just like jump to, hey, what if the world's on fire? You need to kind of do a gradual building up, because I believe you here when you say you don't need a doomsday event or a large home to, be prepared. Because it's kind of like jokey, whatever, like ha ha ha, and you start off saying, "Hey, I thought this was really silly, right? Good, and because I didn't think that, I didn't think I needed it." But then something happened, and after something happened, the way I saw the world changed. And I'm gonna like share with you what happened to me and why that was so emotionally humiliating and terrible, whatever, in a moment. But like, believe me when I say you should care about this. Your setup then is letting you start from like a, hey, I get it, you don't agree with me yet, but I'm going to get you there sort of thing. And so now your job is to gradually move up from, hey, I thought this was silly, but this thing happened. Let me show you what's at stake here. So when you start here, this is like the wrong section, but like even here, don't say the signs of the apocalypse, because that's going to be silly. It's going to read as silly to somebody at this point. You need to start with like something like lower stakes. I think probably this is just the wrong section. I think you then you jump to like this. Hi, I'm Blake. My life changed during Hurricane Sandy in 2012. Blah blah blah. So I did dedicate my life to teaching other people how to survive catastrophes, so that they didn't have to go through what I went through. Then you tell your story. Blah 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 blah. Your story's gonna change because now we're talking about a hurricane. Then you get into the, and I know you're probably thinking, how the hell can I do that? I have this tiny apartment. I live in the city. Blah 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 blah. Objection, objection, objection. But I promise you, you can double the space of your apartment. There's an easy strategy to store food. Go through the stuff you already have. And then a framing thing. I don't think framing things as courses, I think, is a little bit tough. Because unless someone is signing up or looking for a course, like a way to learn something, I think most people are like, oh man, a course sounds kind of skeezy, sounds kind of like a lot of work. typically I see these presented as guides, like this free guide or the guide that teaches you everything you need to know about surviving through, an EMP or whatever. I think it's a little bit more accessible. It's more like a resource for people rather than like a workload that they have to get through. One sort of note here as you're going through these, look for opportunities to insert your tone, more of your tone, go a little bit, push a little bit harder. And even like I don't want to say this throwaway copy, but like in even these smaller lines. For example, like specialist preservation for desserts. Right now you have the easy method, expert food preppers use to preserve desserts like chocolate cake and smoothies for up to 10 years. That's literally fine. However, what if instead of saying it like this, it was something more like the simple method expert food preppers use to preserve desserts like chocolate cake so that they can not just survive anything that life throws at them, but thrive, enjoy, or whatever. You want people to feel like, and this applies to like a lot of financial copy too, it's like, you don't want people just to be prepared for the bad thing that's going to happen. You want people to feel like they're going to have a leg up on everybody else, or there's going to be a benefit, or they're going to get to enjoy or reap the benefits of the thing that's happened as well, because they've bought into whatever it is you're selling. So all of this is like, hey, you're not just to be prepared. You're going to be sweet, literally in the case of chocolate cake. Like there's very much like the image of like you in your apartment trying to build a campfire or being like having to eat like cold green beans out of a can versus the other guy who has like a fucking Bunsen burner who's cooking like grilled meat and stuff. And you're like, damn, why can't I have that? Other guy's doing great. You're not doing great. You need to buy the guy so that you can be doing great like that guy. It's like the gist of that's the image you need to be selling people. You don't need to go through, if you're selling I wouldn't say online, but you say calculator. My first thought was like, well, if the apocalypse happens, how am I going to calculate how much food? I know probably it's easier to say buy it before, but make it easy for people. Step by step video lesson. Yeah, just be very conscious of like the sort of technology involved here. If the apocalypse happens and I haven't watched the course yet, I still want this information. So you say like step-by-step guide with bonus video lessons. Because if the power goes out, I'm still going to want to know how to can that stuff. But your courses will be useless to me if I can only access it via the internet. Yeah. Yeah, this is you doing what I was saying earlier, right? Maintain your quality of life with delicious filling breads and muffins adapted for portable cooking instruments. You and your family will never feel deprived in a lockdown situation. It's fantastic. That's a really, really good line. Make all of your lines like that. Yeah, no, you actually did it here. Okay, so, yeah. Okay. Go water. Now, after you get through this sort of section, this is like a really, really hard cut to buy the thing or to introducing price. If you want to have the start by food supply CTA button, sure, have that there. Scroll to the bottom page, all the info's there, cool. But before you get into like price or just being like, hey, buy the fucking thing, you do need kind of a section that's like summarizing, reminding them of like not just like everything they're going to learn, but taking them back to like that emotional hook you had at the beginning of like, look, I know that seems like a lot of information, and like a lot of people don't take this seriously. I know I didn't take this seriously until I experienced it myself. That's why I want to make sure that you have everything you need so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Hammer that in for a long time. Then get into, that's why I want to make this course affordable, accessible, whatever, to everybody. Then you can start talking about price, and you're anchoring that against how much it would cost to do other things, whatever. You don't have to buy a generator. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You can access, you can know everything you need to know to live, to protect your family and flourish, thrive, even when the world's going to shit, for just $89.99. Bam. Testimonials. Bonuses. All that great stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't want to spend much more time on that because I could talk about this forever, but this is cool. And I can see that you were doing some of the stuff that I was critiquing earlier. So just make sure like you're applying all of your brain to your copy evenly, because you clearly know what to do here. All right, next. Welcome email sequence for reusable, eco-friendly water bottle brand. The sequence conveys the brand's mission, explains why prospects should choose their water bottles, and offers a 10% discount in order to convince them to buy. Email 1. So introduction, all this we're supposed to do. Cool. Water bottle brand. The one question I would have here is how people are getting onto the list. If this is like a generic, you go into the website, pop up, subscribe, cool. But if it's like a post-sale email list, it's also useful to know. Anyway, so subject line, welcome to Fosh. Special gift for you inside. Hello, name. Here are the creators of Fosh. Probably say we are. Or I'd like name yourself. We're blank and blank, the creators of Fosh. The inventors of Fosh. We wanted to take a second to tell you just how excited we are that we set up to release updates and exclusive offers. In fact, that's all we've been talking about. And usually the only thing we talk about is how to create cool water bottles for everyday use. In order to celebrate, we want to show you a little bit around and handpick a range of reusable and stylish water bottles we thought you would genuinely enjoy, and also offer you a 10% discount when you order in the next 3 days with the code blank. So click here to pick your favorite water bottle. Okay. Now you may be wondering why we're so excited to hear from you. Well, we joined forces to create Fosh in 2018 with a single mission to widespread the adoption of plastic-free living by providing an environment-friendly water bottle. Widespread is not a verb. I'd say like to popularize, to further, to something else. So we can reduce non-recyclable plastic from reaching the ocean every year. It wouldn't be easy from the beginning. We knew there would be challenges. Convincing people to make the switch to reusable water bottles meant we had to create products that weren't just functional, but also stylish and durable. We wanted our water bottles to be more than that. We want to create an essential part of your daily routine, also helping you make a positive impact on the environment with every sip you take. That's how our luxury, fashion-forward, but eco-friendly water bottles were created. They're designed not only to make a positive statement on the problem with the environment, but also to turn heads and make you cool rules to drink water from your bottle. We're confident that once you try one of our cool, trendy water bottles, you'll never go back to environment harming and unhealthy plastic bottles. And that's why we're excited. We hope you're excited too, because we have many surprises for you. So stay tuned for our next emails. In the meantime, could you take a quick moment to let us know how you heard about Fosh and what inspired you to subscribe? We read every response and use your feedback to keep improving our service for awesome people like you. Sincerely, your Fosh team. P.S. When we first set out to revolutionize the way of sipping water, We strictly had water bottles in mind, but we believe every company should also show a commitment to outweighing our plastic footprint on the planet. That's why we are proud to be Plastic Neutral Plus, verified by Clean Hub. With the plastic waste we collect and redivert to industrial processes, where it uses energy, we cut the carbon emissions by 25%. So every time you buy a Flash reusable water bottle, it means you really help the environment by supporting us to continue this process. PPS, you can't really go wrong with any of our reusable, cool, and durable bottles. You can our most popular styles right now. Don't forget to claim your 10% discount using code when you order in the next 3 days. We're sure you'll find something you love. Insert product images. Cool. Yeah, so this is an interesting email. I think you do a good job with like tone. Like it feels like I'm reading this from a real person, which is unfortunately like a bar that most people don't reach when they're writing these kinds of emails. So like, well done there. It's very clear to me like what the brand cares about, and that there's like a mission behind all this stuff. I do think you've overwritten it a little bit, as in there's too much here. Like the amount of times you say water bottle is too many. And it just reads a little bit clunky at times. Like the first part of this, I think is like very, very good in terms of reading. However, it's like I don't necessarily want to read an essay on why your brand exists in the first email. You can mention some of this stuff. You can mention the mission and all that stuff. And like I think the plastic-free, environmentally conscious, giving back, being less carbon emissions, that's great stuff. But it shouldn't be like so long. I think you can mention it, and then in further emails, if you want to like go into detail about, hey, here's our program where we use to cut our emissions by 25%. That's fantastic. But in this first email, it's just like I imagine most people would stop reading like pretty quickly around like here. So I think the way you can make this easier is just like cut down some of the details, tell the same story. Like I think this is kind of cool. Like you might be wondering why we're so excited to hear from you. Like, well, when we joined forces, we had a single mission to spread the adoption of this. We knew we knew it wouldn't be easy, and that we needed people like you on our side. So we had to convince people, which meant that we needed our water bottles to be more than just a bottle, which is how we got the product. And we're confident about this, which is why we're so excited to hear from you right now. Blah, 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 blah. Like it just condense. I think this is a similar thing where it's like, P.S., we're super proud to be this, but if you're going to say this, either like this should be driving to another page, or like this needs to be way shorter. This could be like 2 sentences, not 7 or whatever this is, because this is super long. But in terms of like the actual writing itself, great tone. For the most part, not clunky. I would go through and read it, cut down on like reusing the same phrase and stuff. I think that shortening it in terms of like length will help a lot with that too anyway. So I would just give this another look through once you make edits and then like see how it feels. Yeah. Oops. All right. Next, 3 more to go. Practice email. Subject line: the ugly truth about dating advice. Hold on 1 sec. All right, sorry. Cool. So the ugly truth about dating advice. Hey, name. Reading dating advice on the internet is killing your chances of finding a soulmate. Why? Because it's giving you quick tactics for getting a woman's attention that lead to casual relationships. Using a quick pickup line like, "Are you tired? Because you've been running through my mind all day." Sounds silly, right? But really, do you want the type of woman who falls for cheesy lines like that? A casual dater? A fun seeker looking for a quick and easy one-night stand? So, if so, this email is not for you, and you can leave now. This is for men who are serious about finding their soulmate. Because in reality, name, real men don't use pickup lines. It's up to you to take the first step towards finding true love. It's up to you if you want to finally have a woman to adventure with. It's up to you if you want a deep connection filled with laughter and happiness. It's all up to you. And that's exactly what we'll accomplish together in this course. Head here to find the soulmate of your dreams. Jesus, okay. Similar thing. Someone else earlier. Don't take course. If somebody is, they don't know you, they don't care about you, they don't believe you, they don't know why you're an expert in this. Don't be trying to sell them a course. You gotta get them to buy into something before you're like, hey, now buy my shit. It's very basically. I think just trying to think about how to say this. The logic doesn't make a ton of sense to me, and I think that's a problem. So like, hey person, internet dating advice is killing your chance of finding a soulmate. Why? Because it's giving you. I think this is it. So it's like a better framing for this would be like, internet dating advice might help you find one-night stands, but it's not going to find you. It's not going to help you find what you're really looking for. A meaningful relationship with someone who might one day be your soulmate. Say that instead. I think this example is really weird to me. Are you tired because you've been running through my mind all day? Like, it's a dumb pickup line. If you know women, you know that like they will not be impressed by lines like that. But like there are lots of people who like laugh at dumb stuff like that because it's funny, it's silly. Like anybody who's actually like dated much knows that like stuff like that is not why people fall for you. It's just a way to break the ice and start a conversation with somebody. And so telling somebody that like the kind of woman who like falls for stuff like that is like not a good person to date is actually bad advice, because that's not like how that really works in real life. So I think that's a bad framing to present to people, like both because like on a copy level it's like kind of weird, but also like in terms of like real life dating advice, it's not like this is not a helpful thing to tell somebody. Like if you want to say this same thing, you can say something like, look, all of like the advice, like all the advice is geared towards like one night stands, and that's only helping you find women who want one night stands, not women who are interested in relationships. And I think that's a reasonable thing to say. But like, don't. There's also like, trying to be sensitive here. We need to be really sensitive as people who write things, as people who want to be believed, as people who think that what we have to say is worth listening to. We need to be super mindful of what the outcomes of the things we say then are. When you say, do you really want the type of woman who falls for cheesy pickup lines, a casual dater? The implicit message that you're saying then is that type of woman is a bad woman. That is not a good thing to say, for numerous reasons. Um, for a lot of reasons. One, because it's just like not true. Dudes have casual relationships all the time. Blah 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 blah. We don't tend to care about that. It shouldn't really be any different when a woman does. But also, like, this is not how real relationships work. We all know people who just happen to meet somebody and they don't think, oh yeah, this is my soulmate, but they end up dating and it's a casual thing that turns into a serious thing. There's no problem dating someone casually and then having it develop into something else. And so telling people, hey, you should only be looking for people who know right now that they are looking for a serious relationship is not the like best advice to give somebody who's struggling to find dates or who's struggling to find a relationship in the first place. So like, if we're going to give advice, we need to be making sure that the advice that we're giving is actually good and actionable and realistic, and it's not like perpetuating negative stereotypes inside the minds of our target audience, because that ends up screwing people over. Not to get like too deep into like the shit, but when we talk about like incels and stuff, the problem with incels is not that they're actually not dateable, it's that their mindset is so toxic and rotted because of things they've heard from other people and like experience they have read way too far into, that then they believe things about the world that are not true. When we talk to people and say things like, hey, this is not a good type of woman to date, she's no dating potential, you are then skewing that person towards a kind of reality that is not, or towards a perception of reality that is not actually real. Do not do that. That does not help them. It hurts them in many, many ways. They would be better off having heard you say nothing than having heard you say that. So, like, please, I implore you, be so careful when you're trying to do things like this. There is so much great, fantastic dating advice you can tell somebody that so many people need to hear and would truly benefit from. This is not it. I think it's fine to say things like this, like, hey, if you're only looking for one-night stands or casual relationships, you can leave now. Sure, qualify your audience. That's perfectly cool. Stuff like real men don't use pickup lines is like, this is like silly. Like not true. How are we defining real man? There are so many things you could say. I don't think this is the one thing you need to say that's going to get somebody to click or to believe you, or that will help them change their mind or see a different side of reality that will actually help them. This sort of thing where you're like, it's up to you. This, rhetorically, great, love it, fantastic. That escalation, you have to put yourself out there. You have the agency, the autonomy. Nothing changes if you aren't willing to move. Nothing wrong with that. And then your transition needs to be like towards something. They need a reason to click. So I don't know. Like, definitely don't just be like, hey, buy my course. But like, is there a reason? What's on the other side of the click? Is it a guide? Is it a free training? Is it what is it? Is it is it literally like a VSL where someone's gonna walk through? Oh my god, this thing changed my life. Tease that. Tell them that their happiness, that like what's up to them is on the other side of this click. Is what I would say. Okay, next. Cool. So, notes. This is for a copy that product page. Changes. They shorten copy. I don't mind if you don't use it. I'm just here for the approval I didn't get from my dad. Okay. Masterclass and idea generation. Cross-pollination. Immediate, actionable, 3-step process to spark killer ideas and dominate any niche. If you are a marketer / copywriter looking for a proven system that produces high converting ideas on demand, this masterclass is exactly for you. legally steal the exact method Alex uses to generate his own campaign ideas, ensuring that you are always equipped with fresh concepts, no matter the niche. Join Alex as he unveils his step-by-step blueprint to spark breakthrough marketing ideas that you can use to grow any business. Center. I feel like this line and this line are kind of redundant. It's this class gives you a proven system that produces high converting ideas. This is a step-by-step blueprint to spark breakthrough marketing ideas. I want like a little bit more of this. Like none of this is necessarily bad, but it's I read it and I kind of go, okay, sure. Well, I think one thing I've seen in other ones of these that we've done is like there's a big question of what's in it for me, but I feel like this doesn't answer. Like, as the marketer / copywriter, why is it that you specifically want that? Is it that it makes your campaigns bigger? Does it lead you a bigger paycheck? Do the ideas sell better? Like, produces high converting ideas is sort of that, but it's very abstract. If I am a new-ish or intermediate copywriter, I might have some sense of sales, but like, what does it mean for an idea to be high converting? Like I don't know if I could give like a great answer for that on my own. As someone who's like been in this for a while, I mean, ideas are more so about like what is the conceptual underpinning that makes your product or service important, salient, whatever. The conversion part is more about how that idea is then expressed. And so, is it that having really good ideas, really sharp ideas, makes it so that your offer ends up being irresistible? Is it that they're just super interesting and engaging, and so people want to read all of your copy? Give people a sense of like, okay, well, what does the me on the other side of this masterclass look like, or what can they do that I can't do now? I think that's what you kind of need to sell here at the beginning, or you sell that at the beginning. At the end, this is sort of like a summary of like all the stuff that you just said above. Next, by crafting a lead so unconventional that no one in the niche could have thought of, Alex was able to convert 50 high-ticket clients, each worth between $1,000 and $40,000. In one of his Copy That videos, Alex revealed his method for coming up with campaign ideas, though many missed it as it was presented in a different context. I feel like this is a little unclear, just like the phrasing, so definitely tune that up. Here are his exact words from the video. My team and I were pitching a SaaS service to pharmacies in the UK. The lead for the promo was how pharmacies can generate blank. I know what you're thinking. Blank is a term marketers like you are well aware of, but most traditional business owners, they've never heard of it. So we use that insight to shape our pitch. The idea itself made them immediately pay attention. Each customer is worth $1,000 to $40,000 to our client, and we were able to close 50 plus pharmacies. Do you see how quickly an idea can cascade into a flood of success? All that revenue was generated by a campaign built entirely on a simple idea. By learning cross-pollination, you too can effortlessly come up with such ideas. This is literally the method Alex used to build his e-commerce empire, owning 31 plus businesses and generating millions in revenue. If this method can fuel 31 successful businesses, imagine what it could do for your career. Just one note, you never define cross-pollination. The only other time it comes up is in the title. So like somewhere between here and here, you just say like what Alex is doing. Because I assume that what you're going to say is like it's by taking ideas or strategies from other niches and applying it to your own niche, you're able to do things that other brands can't do. which is true, but that's not getting introduced conceptually here at any point. And so I would look for a place to do that, maybe like earlier, like up here in the body. And then once you say that, I would give some examples of like, okay, of like how that might apply to somebody, so like the reader that you're imagining for this. Like what, like literally, like what can they do after the masterclass that they could not do before? These are great for results, like you're implying results, but I would want to see something concrete there as well. Because if your reader can't see it or they can't imagine how great life is going to be on the other side, they don't have the image of what it's going to look like, it's not going to feel very compelling. Oh, I see. This feels like this should be like up here. But also, these don't feel like the kinds of things that generate the kind of results that Alex is talking about here. Launching campaigns worry-free, bypassing blank page syndrome, being more intentional, dominating niches does not feel like I can close. That's going to let me close 1 to 4, like 50 multiple $1,000 clients. Yeah. So pretty good. I just say just like buff it up a bit. Just like really just ask yourself like what's in it for me, and then show that to the reader. Is my biggest build. All right, last one. Hi there. I would like to get email critique, energy drink. So as a CEO is talking to a list about the brand, existing customers who have bought, they have new flavors. Okay, designs, cool. Okay, cool. So this will be in German. You won't believe your eyes about what you're about to do. Cool. So, subject line, your secret wishes come true. Or you won't believe what you're about to see. Name, is the tension rising? And so a note for you, whoever wrote this, I'm going to assume that the entire email is in German. And so I will call out some language stuff, but take that with a grain of salt because I trust you to make it sound correct in German. Yeah. So, name, is the tension rising? Before I start, let me tell you something briefly. I heard your feedback and taking it seriously. As a founder, it's difficult for me, but I want to be honest with you. The taste of Better G could be better. Recently I was told, Andre, I really like you, but Better G doesn't really convince me taste-wise. I wish for more intense sweetness, more mouthfeel, more flavors. Maybe overall a more exciting taste experience. Look, I've actually received this feedback quite often. Some of my colleagues even sometimes drink a sugary energy drink instead of Better G. That's why it was my responsibility to turn our sweetening concept upside down and start over. As you already know, we sweeten with fiber instead of sugar. In Focus Plus, see the last email, we now have not just one, but 3 different fibers. There are several reasons for this. On one hand, of course, the positive health effect. On the other, they have a higher sweetening power. So I went ahead and carefully selected the new fibers based on their sweetening power. The result is 60% more fiber and a completely new mouthfeel. And as if that wasn't enough, this time there aren't just 2 flavors, but 3. Okay, enough talk. Enjoy our flavors. All right, this is fun. So there's a lot of potential in this email. I like the angle of having the CEO come out and talk about the product and be honest about the feedback they get about the product to then pivot and introduce new flavors. So first things first, name, sure, whatever. You say, before I start, let me tell you something briefly. remember that nobody knows who's sending this email. Unless it, like, even if it's from Andre at betterg.com, most people won't know who Andre is. So you need to have a line here that's like, hey, how are you doing? This is Andre, the CEO of the drink company that you purchased from, or the CEO of Betterg. Look, and then you go into this like very honest, like, look, I've heard your feedback, and I'm taking it seriously. Like, as a founder, I have to be honest. I know that taste can be better, and then you go through that. I think you could like shorten this a little bit, but this line here is like very, very funny about even your colleagues sometimes drink a sugary energy drink. So I like the character. I like how honest it is. I think conceptually, this idea is very good. Don't say see the last email, just in general, because not everyone will have been on the list for the last email. They may have deleted the last email. So if a detail is important enough for you to reference or like say, hey, it's worth you explaining or writing again. And I feel like maybe there's even an opportunity here to like talk about the new flavors. Like, because you're like, look, I know you don't like the taste. Even my employees sometimes drink other drinks. Like and then you say it got so bad. I didn't just create one new flavor. I had to create 3 more, and they're good because of all these reasons you say here. But just like play into the joke a little bit more, because I think it's very entertaining. And you can maybe see say we made this flavor because people complain about the sweetness. We made this flavor because people want a different mouthfeel. We made this flavor because my mom called me and she wanted a different flavor because she was mad about it. Lean into the idea, have some fun with it. Yeah, it's quite funny. All right, next one. So, energy drinks are ruining you. This might take action. My mother told me energy drinks are bad. She just wanted to. Okay. Hey there, name. Andre here. So say like Andre, CEO of Betterg. When was the last time you thought energy drinks weren't living up to your expectations? The term is energy drink, but all you feel after you give it some time is the caffeine crash bothering you for the rest of the day. I would like to share my secret that I've never shared as the CEO of Betterg drinks. As the CEO of Betterg. Look, I wasn't even a fan of beverages to start with. I grew up in the countryside of Germany drinking milk and water. And my mother always used to say, son, stay away from those sugary drinks and energy drink cans. It's not good for your health. During my mid-20s, I got into a bodybuilding competition while battling my diabetes day in and day out. You can imagine how strict the diet would be for a diabetes patient bodybuilding professionally. In that year, I rose to the top league, winning second place in the German bodybuilding championship. Those days of my strict life inspired me to create a focused drink, healthy even for diabetes patients to drink safely. Not only that, but for people who want a calm heart while drinking, to replenish their bodies with fiber, a safer caffeine option that still does the work without leaving setbacks, and a choice to prevent future problems by switching from traditional energy drinks. Betterg is made with 100% plant-based with none of that funky business. Best fitted are for people who are looking for a longer focus, who need to concentrate on their work and performance. Justification, not for people who want short-term high bursts of forced adrenaline rush that ruins your body in the long term. Me and my team have made Betterg to help tired 9-to-5 workers, stressed out adults, and people who need constant productivity to get done with their day faster. Betterg makes a healthy workspace. We'll be launching a limited time event, exclusive bonuses in the upcoming days, and I don't want you to miss out on the chance to get your hands on the cans at a cheaper price. CTA, add date to calendar. Okay. I think this one can be shortened a lot. And I guess I'm not sure what the point of this email is. Like, I don't think add the date of the next email we send you is a good CTA. Like, I would much rather have people click to go to a landing page to like pre-order, you know, because you could say pre-order at the discounted price. Like, get them to do something that's actually going to like have them engage with your business rather than add an event to the calendar to wait for an email. Yeah. Like, I like the idea of like the guy whose mom was like, who like grew up drinking milk and water. His mom was like, "Hey, stay away from those drinks." Then going on to make a drink. But maybe there's like a deeper why here. Instead of spending all your time talking about like this or like who it's for, talk about like the CEO's personal journey to from the bodybuilding into making an energy drink, and why that's not a contradiction or why that does make sense. Because you kind of set it up like, isn't it crazy that I did this? And then you're just going to go on to be like, yep, but I did. Tell that story. I'm sure it's emotional. I'm sure a lot of people would relate, because a lot of people have that story of like, hey, you know, I grew up eating pretty well. I was healthy, but then I got a job and it's hard to focus. Then I started drinking all these energy drinks, and now I feel like crap. I'm crashing. I have all these problems. That person would really appreciate hearing the story of how this person, how the CEO, had the same journey and then created something for someone like the reader. And I think that's much more compelling and interesting as an angle. And yeah, both these are very funny emails. I love the angle. Yeah, and that is it. We've actually gone through all of the copy submitted. And yeah, thanks guys for joining. If you would like your copy to be featured on a future episode of Whetstone Wednesday or Friday or whatever day it's on, you could do that by joining us on, where is it? Patreon.com/thecopythatshow, where you can also get, where if you sign up, you get tons of other bonus-free resources that are excellent and great and fantastic. Uncut episodes of, or uncut versions of like previous episodes we've done, tons of masterclasses, access to exclusive channels on our Discord server where people are super, super cool. You get a fun name color. And also you do like a wonderful thing by supporting the show and letting us continue to make this content for free, because we all have day jobs. And yeah, so thank you guys for showing up. Click that link or go to that link if you want us to read your copy next time. And if not, just have a wonderful day. We love you anyway. And I will see you guys in the future. Peace.